Hi Year 11, this is going to be my final video on revision stuff for the exam this year. I thought I would just do one final exam. I'm really sorry if you feel like you've been bombarded with too many resources. I just thought I'd do my best to make sure that you feel supported, and also didn't quite realise that you had a biology exam as well at the same time tomorrow. So, well, not the same time, but on the same day. So I'm sure you need to split your time between biology and tech, but I hope even if just one or two of these things help you pick up a few marks, they will have been worthwhile. So some key words that I'm just going to go through really quickly just to pick out that they could come up in potentially 1 or 2 mark questions or potentially 4 mark questions. So really quickly, just a reminder about what tolerance means, quality control, iterative design, collaboration, ergonomics, anthropometrics, smart materials, technology push, market pull, planned obsolescence, production aids, and just-in-time production or just-in-time manufacturing. First one, tolerance. Tolerance, I've done a few videos on tolerance. It's an acceptable margin of error, and it's normally measured in a plus or a minus, and then you are given some kind of measurement. So for example, if you had a piece of wood, it was 100 millimeters long, and it had a tolerance of plus or minus 1 millimeter. It means that that piece of wood can be 1 millimeter shorter and 1 millimeter bigger and still be within tolerance. So it could be 99 millimeters and 101 millimeters, and it would still be absolutely fine. As soon as it becomes 98 or 102, then it would be outside of tolerance. Okay, so tolerance is good for questions about quality control, good for questions on accuracy. So don't be afraid to bring it into other questions as well. Right, quality control. These are checks that are carried out during the manufacturing process and sometimes at the end of the process to ensure the product is meeting quality standards. So you could be doing things like a visual check, you could be checking dimensions. So all sorts of different things can be checked, but quality control happens during the manufacture of the product and sometimes right at the end to make sure the product has been made to a good quality. Iterative design. Iterative design basically sums up your NEA. It's what you've done throughout your whole NEA. The old way of designing used to be that you would design, you would model it, prototype it, you'd make it, and then you'd evaluate it. Well, with iterative design, things go round more in a circle. So you are constantly designing and redesigning based on feedback from your client. So you are constantly redesigning and improving. It's kind of constant improvement of your design based on feedback from your client. Okay, so a circular design process that encourages you to design, prototype, get feedback from your client and redesign. So you're constantly making a better product because you are making small improvements. I hope that makes sense. If you're not sure, have a look in the textbook about what iterative design means. Collaboration, there has been a question before in some of our previous mock exams about designers and manufacturers working collaboratively. Means they work together. So things like graphic design would bring different skills to a mechanical engineer, who would bring in different skills to marketing. So all of these things bring different skills, make a more successful product, means you can share more ideas, you can use the expertise of different people, and also collaboration. People like, for example, Nike collaborating with people like Billie Eilish to kind of attract more users to the product. Right, next 4 we're going to quickly go through ergonomics. Ergonomics are all about how you can make products comfortable and fit the user, so they're not going to cause you any pain. They make the products easier to use. So a good example once we did was we made those styrofoam mice that you molded around your hand and you tried to make sure, that's a terrible drawing of a mouse, but you get the idea, click, click, click. You made sure that that fitted comfortably in the hand, and you made sure it was ergonomic. Also, don't forget that ergonomics doesn't just cover the fit, it can be the weight of the product, it could be the colour and the texture. So there's all different types of things that you can consider with ergonomics. You've got anthropometrics. This is the average measurements of the human body. So anthro means body, metrics means measurements. And don't forget you've got things like the 5th, the 50th and the 95th percentile. So the 5th percentile caters for the smaller end. So say if it was heights of people, the 5th percentile would be the shorter end of the average. The 95th percentile would be the taller, and the 5th percentile would be smack bam in the middle, the 50th percentile, the kind of medium height. So anthropometrics and ergonomics work together because you use anthropometric data to design products that are going to be ergonomic. Production aids, I've done a whole video on those. The use of things called jigs, templates and molds to make sure products are made more accurately, and it also removes human error. Don't forget, jigs are often things that guide a tool. So for example, it could have 2 holes with a little thing that fits over the outside of your product. It might slot onto it like this, and then you would drill through these holes, which means that the holes would always be drilled in the same position. And templates, pretty obvious, and also patterns, don't forget, for textiles. These are all examples of production aids that just help to make production much quicker, more accurate, and again, it removes that human error. Just-in-time production seems to come up a lot. All of the business students will hopefully know a bit about just-in-time production, but it's when a company only buys in the materials they need at the time they need them. So when they've got an order, they order materials and components. They don't store them in a warehouse. They don't have huge amounts of stock. It means that they don't have to pay for things like security and warehousing. And it also means that you can adapt the product really quickly if suddenly the product that you're making is not popular anymore. It means you can be quite flexible and start making a different type of product. Last slide, a few of the other ones that potentially could come up. Smart materials, don't forget, you've got things like shape memory alloy that changes colour. Sorry, it doesn't change colour, it changes shape when it's exposed to heat. It almost has a memory and it returns to its shape, used for things like braces. You've got thermochromic pigment, which changes to heat. So smart materials react when something in the environment changes. So it could be a bit of heat or it could be light. That's what a smart material is. Technology push and market pull are kind of linked. So technology push is when products have been designed based on an improvement in technology. For example, the iPad was a big improvement in technology, and that made that product. We as customers didn't know we wanted the iPad. We didn't demand it. It just came about because of an improvement in technology. Now, market pull, that's when products have been designed and made based on a customer actually wanting it, so a demand from customers. So things like electric cars, things like, you can kind of argue either way, but electric cars are a good example. Bags for life. Things to do with sustainability tend to be market pull, okay? And the last one, planned obsolescence. This is when products are designed to break after a certain amount of time, and this encourages you to buy a newer version. So things like disposable razors, they go blunt after a certain amount of time. You throw them away, you buy more. Light bulbs, and also to some extent smartphones. They kind of become obsolete because of updates and things like that. Right, I hope that was useful. Just some last minute tips. Again, good luck with the exam, and I will see you soon.